thank you again for joining us for this EnR task force on local climate action for another series of presentations from the energy agencies on their current activities with the local and regional authorities, as well as possible future collaboration avenues between our agencies. So today we have Dena from the German Energy Agency and Klima Agence from Luxembourg. So I believe we can start either one, but maybe we can start with Dena.
We've prepared today a little slide set for you to talk about local climate action in Germany and the role that dena plays within it. And we will just start right into it by presenting a little overview and key figures about the German Energy Agency, for which the abbreviation dena stands. So Deutsche Energieagentur, German Energy Agency. And start by this slide. So I think the most important thing to say is that we are acting as a public company. So we are owned by the German federal government. And also this year is going to be our 25th anniversary. I'll leave it at that and switch to the next slide. So you can see that we have different roles. So we are not only a partner of the German government, as I just mentioned, we are also initiator of the energy transition. We are also a think tank and shaper of change. And also we can be seen as a platform and intermediary. So if you're more interested in those kind of details, I'm pretty sure you can check in the slides afterwards. But I will continue with a little overview on our organizational structure. So as you can see, we have 7 departments, and in total, we like all those little boxes, they give you an idea on the topics that we're working on. So you will find a lot of different topics, and we have in total 14 work areas, and also 2 directorates, which are highlighted with a different color, like the pink and the dark blue. So just to make sure, I'm working in the pink box, so to say, so for the policy and strategy department. However, Alena is working for the urban energy transition box. So we have different roles, but still work.
Yeah. Just a short, most of what we do with local climate action and the municipalities is also located in the urban energy transition part, but not all. So it's a bit cross-sectional as well. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. And I would like to now start with the national framework, which is part of the question set that you, Sophia, provided to all the participating agencies. So let's start with a short overview. And so basically, as an overview, Germany's climate and energy policy is shaped across 4 levels. As you can see, the European level, the federal, the government, the states, and the municipalities. And starting with the EU level, I can say that at the EU level, the key directives like the Energy Performance of Buildings Directive and the Renewable Energy Directive set the overarching targets and obligations. And I think that's the same for every agency joining this task force here. So you're probably very familiar with this concept. And looking at the federal level, Germany implements these directives through national laws, such as the Buildings Energy Act and the Heat Planning Act. And those acts then define technical standards and planning obligations. Switching to the next level, we have the state level. And the federal states create their own climate protection laws and planning regulations to align with national targets and address regional specifics. And then last but not least, we have the municipal level. So local governments, of course, play a key role in execution. So they declare climate emergencies, develop heat and urban development plans, and also coordinate with local utilities. So maybe as a key message, the local action is framed by multi-level governance in Germany, but municipalities are where these laws become real, like on the ground operating, so to say. And then we also prepared another overview, which we called the building blocks. So to support the climate act. Yes.
Anna, sorry if I interrupt you. If I can make some question right now, or you prefer to do at the end? Tell me with no problem.
No, I'm fine with straight away questions.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. It was my curiosity to know, because in the previous slide, it was very interesting for me to better understand this multi-level governance that you have and this different level of governance, because I see federal, which is higher than states. And
I'm
then,
gonna explain it in the next slides a bit in depth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my question was between states and municipal, if regions are the main actor. Okay, thank you, and sorry to interrupt you. Thanks.
No worries. Yeah, we will clarify this in a few slides. So, exactly. But let me get back to the building blocks. So, as I said, to support the climate action at the local level, Germany provides financial aid, consulting services, but also institutional support. And those are then, to say, the national building blocks. When we look at funding, funding is available from multiple programs. So, for example, we have the BEG that supports efficient buildings, but we have also the KfW, which supports energy efficient homes. And then there's also targeted funding for heat networks. Going on to the consulting services, the municipalities also receive subsidized consulting, like energy audits or help with climate protection plans. And this is based, for example, on national standards like the dena regulation you can see here. Also, there's supporters. So several institutions support the implementation, including national and regional associations like the German Association of Towns and Municipalities or state energy agencies. And to wrap it up, we can say that municipalities are not alone. So there are structured support systems combining money, expertise, and institutional partners to help them act on climate. However, of course, there are challenges, but this is something that also Alena will go a bit deeper into detail later on the presentation. And for the next part, I'll hand over to Alena.
Thank you. Yeah, we go a bit more in depth in the because the main part, and I think that's what you were referring to, like Germany is a federal state with a federal structure, and this in many regards helps, and based on our history, it's also very necessary. I mean, there are reasons why we are a federal state, but it's not the easiest to operate in. So we have 16 federal states, and each of them has their own constitution, has their own parliament, an own government, and also own laws. And power is shared, and also the responsibilities are shared, so in all three layers, and there are quite of strict rules which kind of power lays with which of the different levels. And the last bullet point is it's called a Konnexitätsprinzip. This is basically the underlying part which you see in the very small table. So the federal state, the government of Germany, is allowed to impose laws on the states. It's, however, not allowed to directly impose laws and regulation on the municipalities. Only the states are allowed to do so. And what we see sometimes happening is that we have a European law, and the German government is implementing this into German law. And then there's a process where each of the 16 states has to implement this German law into federal law. And it can happen that we end up with 16 different laws and 16 different laws for the municipalities in Germany. And what makes it also kind of difficult, or why it's sometimes tricky, is this Konnexitätsprinzip. It's whoever orders pays. So as soon as the federal level imposes a law, but for example, we have now a law for the municipal heating. That's quite new. It's last year they implemented it, and it's a federal law with consequences for the municipalities. So also the federal level has to make sure that there are support and that there is money for the municipalities to at least to make these plans into with funding and so it is kind of, it's always a bit of check and balance. So where lies actually then who imposes the law, for whom does it count, and who is it kind of, what is going then down and actually reaches the municipalities. Yeah. I hope it's quite a tricky. Is that answering your question actually a bit better? Or is there, yeah. And what the federal level actually mostly can do is provide funding for the municipalities. But we come to that in the next slide, because based on this, we wrote down a few challenges which we come across a lot in our actual project work. So I work in projects directly with the municipalities. We as a dena are allowed to, although we are part or funded of the government, which is good for us and which is quite a good, not workaround, but it provides us with a lot of information, like what the challenges are. So the first is always the complexity of everything. If we talk with municipalities and tell them, oh, there is EU law, and do you even know what it says? And do you know which kind of German law is based or is linked to it? I mean, I don't know. And this is kind of my daily work. It's so complicated, especially with the EPBD now coming into place, and with the EED, and with the role municipalities have in these European laws, that they have to be the forerunners of everything. And we're going to see how that turns out. And in the recent years, the problem of budgeting, it gets worse and worse. So more and more municipalities actually announce that they don't have enough money for their, that they don't have enough income in the sense to function properly. And because climate protection or climate change in that sense is not, it is in different laws, but not in its totality. So there's always, municipalities always have to see, okay, we have this tasks we need to do. Like, for example, the fire brigades need to be financed, and what money is left and which they can put into climate change or climate protection programs. And then shortage of staff. We have, I don't know how it is in other countries actually, but we have a quite old task force, and especially in the public fields, there are not enough young workers coming to level it. And all these changes, what we see, they are not the challenges, they are not even challenges of implementation, the things regarding, the climate goals. So there's nothing yet done. There's not a heat network built. There's not a building more efficient. It's just, organizational challenges. Are there any questions to that? I would be curious in the end if that's for your countries the same, or if you experience the same, but we could do it after.
I think we will notice, like we did in previous sessions, that most of these could be shared slides, because mostly the identification of the shortages in staff financing, and then lack of collaboration between organizations that are these growing demands on municipalities, like different initiatives requiring different data. So this is quite general to all of the agencies, I guess.
All right, then I will continue. Or right, Alena?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So the next part we're going to focus on is the multi-level governance and coordination strategies at our national level. So probably it's not a surprise that we have a lot of different actors acting on different levels, because this is all, very multi-layered, so to say, as probably you have understood already by Alena's presentation. And this is just a little bit of a glimpse into what's going on in Germany. And I will start with the highest level, like the federal level. So I have structured this table for the type of organization and then the key institutions and functions that go with it. So maybe starting with the federal ministries. We have the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action that leads national climate policy and legislation, including also the Climate Protection Act. And we, for example, also have the Federal Ministry for the Environment that supports environmental and adaptation programs. However, then there are several implementing bodies that help deliver funding and programs. So all three categories you will see under the federal ministries. And just to name a few, that's, for example, the ZUG, which implements the National Climate Initiative, but also funds local climate projects. For example, we have also the project management Jülich, which is also in combination a part of the EnR network, which oversees urban energy projects. And then maybe to just give another example, the KfW Bank, which I mentioned earlier, which supports which offers the loans and grants to municipalities for retrofitting and infrastructure. So there's a lot going on already on federal level. However, we of course have another level, as you already know, the states. And as Alena already talked about the 16 states, it's not going to be surprising that each of the German states has its own ministry or agency for energy and climate, sometimes even both, or usually even both. So you can see different examples of the state energy and climate agencies. I've listed them here. And can be also said that the states also run funding programs for heating networks, sustainable mobility, or adaptation. So taking now a look regarding the governance level of municipalities. So where we are talking about the action on the ground, the municipalities, of course, play their key role in implementation. So they employ local climate managers, but also manage public utilities and operate environmental departments. And associations such as the German Association of Cities and Counties help municipalities coordinate and represent their interests. And municipalities also form part of networks like the Climate Alliance, where there are over 500 German cities part of, the ICLEI Europe, and also the NKI-funded climate networks. However, there's also civil society and research support going on and active. So Germany's climate ecosystem includes strong civil society actors like Fridays for Future, German Zero, the BUND, and the NABU. It's really funny to say those abbreviations in English because I'm so used to speaking them out in German, and it's not really self-explaining what they stand for, but I think you will get an idea of like the diversity of actors. So again, back to the research support. Of course, we also have research institutes like, for example, the Wuppertal Institute, the DIFU, and the Fraunhofer, which provide scientific support and pilot urban innovations. So maybe to conclude, this really is a collaborative system, and local climate protection and action in Germany is multi-level, decentralized, and heavily funded. So the system depends on the federal support and the state coordination and also the local execution, which then all is ideally working toward Germany's climate goals under the Paris Agreement and the EU Green Deal. So I maybe leave it at that. And feel free to jump in with questions. Otherwise, I will continue to the next slide and hand over to Alena again.
Yes, sorry. Just one question, one more question. In the first slide for the agencies belonging to the federal government, I see BAFA. This is the energy efficiency funding, but you are like a dena, also you are a federal agency, if I don't misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there are different levels and with different, for example, the BAFA and the BFEE. Yeah, I'm actually not sure how to explain it properly in English, what their level is. They're even closer and to the government, and they are also part of the concerted actions from the EU.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
BFEE
I know
and
them.
BAFA.
I know
yeah.
them because of
Yeah.
the concerted action in
Yeah.
CBD. I know
But
Martin.
they are, for example, I have to check that. I have to double check if that's actually, but they are not doing projects like we do. So we are more in a project focus, also with municipalities, also with a lot of other players. You saw in the first that we have the 7 departments, so it's a very broad focus, and they are also more involved in with the EU and with the law making, basically, which we are not.
Okay.
So
okay.
that's a bit of a difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify if I understood correctly regarding this federal structure, because when you were talking, Alena, about the EPBD, what I understood, but I don't know if it's correct, is that you have the EPBD to do the transposition for a national level, but each one of the states will do its transposition. Is that correct? Like you will have 16 transpositions of this directive?
In the worst case, but yes, we have we have the EPBD, and there are certain parts which are, of course, necessary that data or information is going to come from the municipalities. So with the national building, with the report, somebody needs to get the data, and that's then, it needs to be German law first. I mean, that's probably in every state. You need to implement the PBD in the national law, but then we have this extra step that if we want something from the municipalities, then it needs to be a state law as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's not, of course, for everything. Not every national law needs to be a specific state law, but if it has implications for the state and for the municipalities, then it definitely needs. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And we did it with the municipal heat planning law. There was actually a good process to try to get a consensus what's going to be in the state law. So there were a lot of different dialogues within the different states, and we facilitated to see that it's at least comparable, that it's not completely different, and because it needs to be comparable.
And it was you, Dena, that facilitates this work. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Just another small question regarding this organization between the federal and state level. So these state energy and climate agencies, they exist in all states, or is it up to the state to create them or not?
It is up to the state, but they are existing in all states, but also in different forms. Sometimes they are like us, a GmbH. Sometimes they're integrated in a state ministry. Sometimes they are more independent, as an independent player. So even there we have differences. And also then, it's of course what they're allowed to do, if they're allowed to do projects, if they're allowed to have a political opinion, for example, or it depends really.
Depends.
It's
But this, do they all? So is there like let's call it a network, even if it's not a formal one, between yourselves and these local, these regional or state agencies? So you have like a almost like not a department of yours, but you have someone that can work more directly with the cities on behalf of dena if there is a federal let's say a federal project, something that wants to be done at country level. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. At dena, we're definitely more flexible than the governments are. And with all the state and state agencies, we have every half a year on top level, like our CEO together with their CEOs, to try to find strategies and to try to also align opinions, that it's because it's a strong voice, all of the 16 plus us as 17, so that we try to have more,
it's really important.
more political influence also through that. And they also use us as a dena to also like place their worries. So it's a very collaborative
it's a good
together.
example of what a structured multi-level dialogue, a permanent one, can look like, because they can convey issues from the local level, discuss it among themselves, but then pass it on to you or to the national government through you. It's a very good example.
But we're not the only ones. It's but in this field, it's definitely works. Yeah. Okay. Can you go?
Yes. I'll switch slides. All right. You will continue, right, Alena?
Yeah. And the last two slides are a bit what we actually as a dena do in terms of themes, topics, which is relevant for the local climate, or which we see relevant for the local climate actions. The maybe biggest part is the municipal heat planning. I mentioned it before that we have actually a federal a law now since a year, and this is a huge part of one project, which I come later to. We also work a lot with like neighborhood solutions and try to support their energy performance. Contracting is a second big part of us. And what's now new is the whole topic of databases and data, because EED and EPBD, they need a lot, and we don't have a structure for that. Like, we don't have a database. We don't know actually how many buildings there are in the municipalities for which we knew the EED and EPBD would apply. So we're very in the beginning, but also very active in projects to actually finding that out. And the whole financing part, it's the same. Like, we have such a deficit in infrastructure, like the infrastructure efficiency. It's and we support also with event publications, workshops, but that's more a bit of a side note. And then next one, please. And we have basically two center of expertise which we're running. The one is for contracting. I'm not sure if that idea of contracting for municipalities is also in other countries. I know in France it's definitely used, but that a contractor is kind of giving a guarantee and helping, and we're facilitating this already since I think
this is the
2010.
ESCO more or less the ESCO model. Okay, so yeah,
exactly, it's the ESCO model, and what we are ready for, I think, since this current project is from 2021, but with the topic, I think we are since 2010 or so already. And this is really hands-on. So we provide experts for the municipalities so they can set up this contracting within their municipality and within their own buildings for their own buildings. Yeah. And the next one is the Center of Expertise for the Municipal Heat Transition, which is also a big project from ours. It's the same. It's basically giving support to the local governments, also to the state governments, that they can manage these municipal heat transitions. And it's a whole package. I can send you the links maybe afterwards that you can actually have a look at the websites, because I think that would, yeah, be a bit too much for this session. Yeah, that's it. Are there more questions?
So the role of dena with the municipalities directly, it's to give technical support. You don't have funding, right, directly for the municipalities?
No. We don't provide funding. We provide support, and like for the contracting project, we can provide a person basically.
Okay.
We can give them an expert on hand with that's the only support, like really what we then can give, and of course informational support and so on and so on. Yeah.
Okay, but only in specific
not classic
projects.
funding. Yeah, in specific projects. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a global funding. That's why it's the ZUG, or they are managing the funding from the government. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I have two questions. The first one is what is your supporting model, let's say? So if you provide municipalities with guidelines, databases in terms of, I don't know, nationals, probably databases, or federal database, but which can be used by all the municipalities in Germany, or if you provide them with a specific consultant with the expertise in, for example, audit, energy audit, I don't know, or economic skills for financing plan, just to make some examples. So this is my first question. And the second one is if you know, if you also help municipalities in SECAPs, because as EnR is the national coordinator of SECAP in Italy, I'm very interested in this topic. Thank you.
For the first, it really is depending on the project, and our project comes from the government. So they ask us to do a certain project and to support the municipalities, and depending on what this project is about, it depends on the level of support we can give, of course. Yeah, it's really depending. There is no general.
Yes, sorry, just to react. So you have the possibility, for example, if a specific municipality asks you some support, you have the possibility to, oh my God, to take some more expert from the market, let's say, and pay him or her for the supporting activity. I'm asking you that because we are totally public body, so for EnR it's not possible to do that. So we are 100 involving in energy efficiency, and that we are not able to help every municipalities in Italy. Usually we make some specific work for the biggest one, like Rome, like Milan, or like province, but not for specific municipalities. So we usually act as guide with the guidelines, providing guidelines, databases, but the national point of view, well, Italy is very small compared to Germany, but that's why I'm asking you that. So
yeah, just in this one project, we actually do that. Like in the Center of Expertise Contracting, their municipalities can apply after they did a certain check from their buildings, and then we can provide them within this project with an expert who helps them figure out how to do contracting in their municipality. But all others not. They can, of course, call us for expertise if we have them, but there are always a lot of, or also a lot of others who actually do that. There's the Agentur Kommunaler Klimaschutz, like also it's another agency, which is at a different at a different ministry, in a different ministry, and they are also providing more hands-on information for really the local municipalities. So it's yeah, it's a big field. So actually we have Anna Maria and I also have to still get in contact with them to tell them that we need them. But yeah. Is that clarifying a bit? So as you see, like you said it, we're quite a big country with a lot of people and a lot of different layers. Which also is not easy for us to look through, and sometimes also probably not for the local municipalities, to who's providing with what. And yeah,
Just maybe as a follow-up to this question, do you know if the state level agencies, if they are providing this kind of support, like actually developing the plans and so finding the data for the scenario to create the scenarios, do the planning with them? You're not sure?
no, some are
No.
because they're allowed to, because they are a private. So it depends really on the state. Some are not because they are like us, the GmbH, and they are not allowed to give to act as a market player. Like we are not allowed to act as a market player. That's really important. We're not a business in the sense.
So you cannot replace something that could be provided by the market, like a consultancy. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for some of the state ones, it's the same, and others are a market player in the sense. So they are also allowed, for example, to develop the municipal heat plannings, or there could be, but
So
then
they could be hired by municipalities
exactly
to provide it as a service. Okay.
Yeah, as part of a public, how do you call
Tender.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tender.
exactly. Of a public tender.
Okay, understand.
But it really depends on in which state they are, or like how they're structured. Yeah.
What about organizations like you mentioned, ECLA and Climate Alliance, which I know is very big in Germany? Do they play this role, or are they part of this supporting scheme? Let's say.
Yeah, there's a lot of like support in the sense of providing information and what needs to be done. But as you mentioned, like there are also, of course, consultancy parties who have this as a who have that as a business. And I'm actually not sure I don't think ICLE is really hands-on then on the German field of market. So it's also more the connection to the EU, where
maybe some training.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this year or last year they did a lot on financing, of course.
Yeah.
But it always has this EU focus.
Umbrella. Let's say. Yeah.
Yeah. And we are actually, that's also what we noticed in preparation for this whole task force, that it's not really all interconnected, which is with the how big we are, maybe also logic. Also with the government of mayors, like we are not part of that, and we don't play a role in this. It's in own kind of environment ecosystem again. So of course we know more or less which cities are part of it because they have a website, but we are not involved in those kind of other
initiatives. Sure. Yeah, no, we understand. It's a different situation in all countries. I mean, the most active country, for instance, in the Covenant of Mayors specifically, the most active country is Italy, because it was taken as let's say, as a national platform as well. It was as a standard. Let's say it was adopted, but in your case, since there is also a lot of federal level decision or of state level decision. It's also not very easy to implement something that is used across different states, because they have autonomy in this kind of planning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
what's also a bit maybe we have, I think, 10,000 municipalities, but only, and I think 80%, I'm not 100%, I have to check, 80% are less than 15,000 inhabitants.
Yeah, small.
So it's also to understand why this sometimes happens, like the government of mayors, it's often big cities. And
True.
no, we not necessarily have so many of them, but a lot of small ones which are just not in those kind of initiatives.
They have introduced, the Covenant of Mayors specifically has introduced a figure of having these plans as joint plans. So several smaller cities can come together in a territory and create a joint SECAP. And for the mission cities, I know that it has been hard to have the smaller cities apply and become mission cities. But at least, for instance, in Portugal, what happened is that we have only three mission cities that are more active, have more capacity. But then there was a network of cities created in which these three lead the way a little bit, but the others are already evolving with them and coming onto the mission spirit, let's say, through those. So although they are not formally mission cities, they are taking the same opportunities because they are working together with them. So maybe for the small cities, I think that these kind of strategies could be interesting. Like to have, I don't know, you probably have plenty more mission cities in Germany on the EU missions.
Yeah, there are several.
Yeah, there are several.
I don't know a number, yeah.
Yeah, but this could be something interesting to, probably they are doing this because I know that Net Zero Cities has been encouraging the creation of these national platforms so that the small cities can also take advantage of what is being developed, namely in terms of the planning, the financing plans, things like this. So they can work together with the larger cities, which are mission cities, work together with them to also create their own. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This is really interesting, and in fact, I mean the challenges are very common and similar, but then the different national realities, namely in terms of governance, give you very different ways to work. But it's quite interesting that you have this kind of sub-network of energy agencies that are state level, so they are quite they have capacity, so they have the means to actually work, and working together with you can have this dissemination network, let's say. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move to Luxembourg now to Bruno Barboni from Klima Agence, and he will tell us a little bit about the Climate Pact mostly and the work that the agency is doing with the communes.
Good morning also from my side. So my focus for the presentation now is more not the overview maybe, but more the Climate Pact as the instrument of the national support also for Luxembourgish municipalities. So I quickly added 2 slides of our structure, Klima Agence, which are in French now. Sorry for that, but I think it's self-explaining also. So Klima Agence is a public structure supported by the Ministry of Economy, the Ministry of Environment, and also the Ministry of Housing. So these 3 ministries finance us. But we also have two other actors on our board, which are the Chamber of Craftsmen. I don't know if it's the best word in English, and also the Chamber of Engineers and Architects. We support the entire society from the country, so citizens, professionals, local authorities, and also municipalities and also public authorities. This is basically our structure with one direction and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different departments. At the moment, we are 45 people in our agency. I started in 2009 also, and we have been to 12 persons. So we made not bad development in our structure, and also the plan for the future is to grow. Okay, so this only in terms of our structure. Then I will come to the Climate Pact. So the Climate Pact in Luxembourg is currently in its second edition, and it was initially launched in 2013. And as I said, is considered as a central and national tool for supporting Luxembourgish municipalities in their climate protection efforts. So from the start, it was clear to the ministry that we would not develop now a new system, but instead build on an existing international recognized system. So this is how the Climate Pact was linked to the European Energy Award. And why now the European Energy Award? So the European Energy Award is a process-based the process is based on implementing measures. That was for us very important, that it's not a theoretical instrument, but an instrument to implement measures. It has many years of experience and a good, clearly organized network, which was also important for us to promote also exchange, and also to have the benchmarking for a small country as Luxembourg, to have the benchmarking on international level. If you can see, you can see here, there are other countries participant also in the European Energy Award, like Germany, Italy, France, with different organizations. Maybe the development of the Climate Pact. So we started in 2013, and the first edition was until 2020. So at the beginning, a few municipalities joined the Climate Pact, and you can see the development. If it was in 2020, we had all the municipalities engaged in the Climate Pact. And also most of the municipalities, 95% of municipalities certified also in different levels. So now we are in our second phase of the Climate Pact, which runs until 2013. Maybe also important, the Climate Pact is fixed by a law in Luxembourg, based by a law. So we had a new law in 2021, and yes, as I said, it runs until 2030. The timeline is also aligned with our national energy and climate plan, where the Climate Pact plays an essential role also for linking national and local levels. So also in the second edition of the Climate Pact, all of municipalities have been engaged. I have to say also that it's voluntary, so it's not they are not obligated to join the Climate Pact, but also in the new Climate Pact, all of the municipalities in Luxembourg joined. Currently, we have 96 of 100 municipalities. They are certified, with also 18 achieving the highest level, the gold level. And yes, for the realization, we have 10 internal and 23 external climate advisors. And we have 19 specialized advisors in renovation and circular economy. Additionally, we have also 5 auditors to confirm this certification level in a municipality. So maybe the role of us Klima Agence in the whole climate pact. So our role is the coordination and continuous development of the climate pact, where we have a mandate of the Ministry of Environment. Sophia, you have a question?
Oh yes, just I could do it afterwards, but just on this, the climate pact is, as you said, voluntary. But was there any kind of incentive towards participation? So, or was it just the political commitment that was important and they joined? Was there any, for instance, incentives that they had in terms of facilitating financing or giving them a little bit of credit on financing applications, things like this, or funding?
Yeah, there was. I will explain how the climate pact works, and then you can see also the financial part of the climate pact. And I think that was the most important thing also for the municipalities to join. So I will come back afterwards. So maybe the role of us, so the main contact management and technical support, training and provision also of the climate advisors and also the auditors. So also in terms of networking. We are responsible also for communication activities and also promoting of the exchange of experience and also development of and adaptation of key tools and also the catalog of measures is in our responsibility. So to explain how the climate pact works, I don't go in all details, but I try to make it now, more quick. So municipalities they have to sign the agreement, and at this moment they can book a climate advisor, and the climate advisor acts as an expert and guides also the municipalities in this whole process. Additionally, also one member of the municipal council must take on the role of the climate alderman, and the municipalities must adopt for also quantitative climate goals for 2013, and this one has also need to be officially approved by the local council. So that's the start in the climate pact. Maybe also a few words of the climate team. So if they start in the climate pact, they have also to implement a climate team, which is built with citizens and other local actors from the municipalities. And there's also a mandatory member, and that's the climate alderman. And the climate alderman's role is he's the political point of reference of the climate pact. He ensures that also the climate pact, the climate team's works has an impact on the local authorities' political agenda. So it's maybe also, you can say it's the link between the climate team and the political level. And he presents also the climate team's report at least once a year on the local council's agenda. So to start, the municipalities have to implement also, of course, measures. So to implement measures, we have a catalog of measures which contains a total of 64 measures across various sectors. You can see the detail from this catalog in our website. You can see here the link to the digital catalog of measures. So after implemented the measures, the municipalities can request an audit in order to receive a certification. And we have 4 certification levels: 40, 50, 65, and 75% of realizing of the measures. And then I will come to the financial subventions. So we also have, sorry for that, we also have 3 certifications in thematic certifications. So one of the thematic air quality, adaptation to climate change, and also circular economy in terms to make more in evidence these different topics. Okay, so yeah, as I said, perhaps also the most convincing argument beside the climate protection itself for the municipalities to participate in the climate pact are the financial incentives. So joining the system for the municipality is free of charge. They don't have to pay something. If they joined, the state covers the cost of this climate advisor, and they so that's the basic. And then if they have a thematic certification, they will get 10,000 euros per thematic certification. And in addition, the municipalities receive a variable grant based on the certification level and also the population size. And that's the most big subvention on the climate pact. You can see here the different grants. So in 2023 until to 2026, they can have between 9 and 42.5 euros per inhabitant. You can see here an example. So if you have for Luxembourgish a big city of more than 10,000 inhabitants, and they they have a certification in category 4, so it's 75%. They will get 450,000 euros per year, plus the climate advisor, which are 600 hours per year with a early rate of 130 euros per hour. So that also is a big subvention also for the municipality. So this is the financial part. So maybe I can go a little bit in detail of the role of the climate advisor. So we, as I said, we have 2 climate advisors: the basic climate advisor, who is fixed on municipalities. So the main role is to be the facilitator, the motivator, and also management and documentation of the climate pact process. And also to link the climate team's works to also the political level. And then we have the specialized climate advisor. These ones can be booked on demand by the municipalities, and they are now we have 2 topics which specialize in circular economy and also energy renovation. And as I said, they can be booked if they are need to give also guidance in initiation of different more detailed projects. There's a question from Francesca.
Yes, thank you. I was wondering, in the previous slide, this example of 450,000 euros per year, are these is this subsidy linked to specific type of investment? I mean, for example, if a measure of the climate pact could be, I don't know, alternative transport, for example, or to buy, I don't know if the example is coherent, like buying some electric public vehicles. But okay, of course, this amount is too small, no, to make such investments. So I was wondering if this incentive is thought by the government to, for example, to ask support from external consultants. So if there's an orientation where to use these subsidies that the cities received for their climate pact.
So in generally, this subsidy is not linked to any measures. So the municipalities can do with this money what they want. It's there's no obligation also to invest it in implementation of the measures. But of course, most of the municipality use this budget to implement new measures. That's but it's no obligation. There's also one measure in the climate pact catalog that documents also how much of the financial subsidies are going in implementation of measures. So there is an argument for the municipalities to do it, but there is no obligation to realize measures, for example, in terms of mobility or renovation buildings, renewable energies, etc. There is a special funding from the ministry to give other financial subsidies for the municipalities. And this is not linked to the climate pact. Is it okay? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, maybe a few words also on the tools. So of course, we have this catalog of measures. That's the heart of the climate pact. So there you can find the measures that have to be implemented in the municipalities. And with this guidance, we have also the possibility to change also different aspects of also, or to prioritize also different measures. We can change the points. We can add some topics from year to year, etc. So this is our guidance also from national to local level to guide also the municipalities. One example for e-mobility was no topic. It was 5 years ago. So at one moment, the government said we have to provide to provide also the e-mobility in the municipality level. And what we did is to implement. We integrated in our catalog of measures so that we give also some focus on this topic. Same with climate adaptation or topics as circular economy. They were not in the catalog from the beginning. So we have now the possibility with this catalog to change also different topics. And what we are doing also with the catalog of measures, we are doing annual revision of the catalog, and we provide it also with different authorities, different ministries, or also different actors, associations, so that they also can give us input to make also the catalog as strong as possible. Then we have the management tool. So this comes from the EEA, so from the European Energy Awards, and is our central tool to manage also the whole process of the climate pact. So it's a web tool, and to evaluate and also document the municipality's effort. So all measures are implemented in the tool, and yeah, with this tool we also use also the tool to carry out national evaluations and see in detail also what municipalities have realized in the various measures. So for us, this is very valuable because we have overview of all the municipalities. And that's also our big advantage, benefit, that we have all communes, municipalities engaged in the climate pact. So we have really a national view on the efforts that are made in the different municipalities. Then we also have tools like an energy accounting platform, EnR Coach, which is for free also for all the municipalities. They have an obligation to do the monitoring in terms of the climate pact. So we have data from the municipality level of on their energy consumptions from 2030 on. And we have also a centralized dashboard where the municipalities can view the different key indicators. We have 12 to 15 key indicators in the climate pact, and it's documented also in a sort of dashboard. Then only to give a few examples also of implementation tools. As I said, it's also our mission to implement, to develop also tools for the municipalities. We have a platform for circular procurement. We have also a thermal cadastre, or we have also a solar cadastre implemented on national level. We have a platform, for example, Port Charging Point LU. It's a matchmaking platform to expand for the expansion of the charging infrastructure in the municipalities. Only a few examples. And then another point is the communication. In terms of communication, we also offer to the municipalities customized communication packages and other services. And then last but not least, a very important point for us is also the exchange and networking on municipality level. We have national events, as it was last week. We had our National Climate Pact Day with more than 200 participants, which is already not bad for Luxembourgish. And we have workshops, we have conferences to really, we are really trying to make this exchange of experience between the different municipalities and also climate advisor, etc. Yes, so that's maybe all of the climate pact. So to conclude, for us or for the government, the climate pact, based on the European Energy Law, this has become a central and also a central instrument in Luxembourg. It has led to greater engagement by municipalities, also to implement measures, stronger networking, and also more say goal-oriented approach in terms of climate policy. And it was really a success story for Luxembourg. So also in 2021, they decided to implement a housing pact and also a nature pact in the similar function of the climate pact. So if you have more questions afterwards, also in detail, you can contact me or my team. And this was now a little shorter overview about the pact.
Thank you, Bruno. Francesca, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, this climate pact, for this climate pact is mandatory monitoring of the measures, and if as all the cities in Luxembourg have a climate pact, if also the central government use it for monitoring their targets, European targets. Thanks.
So on European level, I don't think that now that so the monitoring is not done with the climate pact itself. So I think that's more on ministerial level. I cannot now explain how they do it, but of course we have a very short link to the different ministries. So if they have to get some data and they know that's the data that comes from the municipalities, they contact us and we can provide them with the data from the Climate Pact. So we are not doing it from ourselves, but we have also in our contract with the municipality, there is also mentioned that we have the right to provide also data in terms of statistic use to the government.
Maria,
So,
go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think this answered, right, Francesca?
Yes, I don't understand if also the Climate Pact has a monitoring phase. Okay, I understand the answer about the collection of monitoring data for the state level, but if in Climate Pact is mandatory to have a monitoring plan.
On municipality level for each municipality.
Yes, for
and
each
monitoring
municipality
plan.
adopting a Climate Pact.
So what we have on, if this is an answer on your question, what we have on municipality level. So first of all, they have each municipalities have the obligation to do this monitoring on energy accounting. So for the municipality buildings, that's an obligation. That also because why we provide this this platform EnR Coach to make it. So 98 of 100 municipalities use the EnR Coach platform, where they monitor all consumption, electricity, heating, renewables, public lighting, and also vehicles. They are documented in in this platform. And then we have these key indicators. So the key indicators are centralized by us. So we provide the data for the municipality for these key indicators, and for the key indicators they have also to implement this goal until objectives until 20 and 30. So that's also how we monitor the Climate Pact's evaluation also for each municipalities. So for example, in terms of implementation of photovoltaics, so they have to fix a goal until 20 and 13. This goal is linked to our national goal, so they have a little space between the national goal, but it's linked on this national goal. And then we will look every year, and also in the audit of the municipalities, if they are on the path or not. So that's the system how it works for several indicators, not of all, but the indicators where we have the numbers and that are 12 to 15, we will do it like that. And then we have other indicators. They are not obligated to documentate them, but if in maybe all measures we have also indicators, and to have the maximum of points of the measures, they have also to document it with numbers.
Okay, thank you.
So Maria?
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to first thank you for your presentation. It was really interesting, and the work you are doing, it's very interesting and inspiring for us to also replicate. I just have one question regarding Klima Agence by itself, because the work you do with the municipalities, it's only inside the Climate Pact, or do you have other type of initiatives in Klima Agence?
So, as I said, I don't know the numbers in your agencies, but I think we're quite small with 45 people. So in our office we are on one level. So also with our departments, it's very easy to communicate. So What we are doing in the climate, in the Klima Agence, is that, of course, we have my department. They are more responsible for the municipality with the climate pact or the nature pact and the housing pact. But for example, if I take the topic of the circular economy, we have one department where are two people only working on the topic of circular economy. So if we developed something like a platform for procurement, it's developed in this department, and we work together. And that's how we work also for other topics like the e-mobility. In my team, there is no one who is expert in e-mobility. We have it in our other department of the strategy. And if we have to develop something for the municipalities, it's developed in this department, and we work together. That's
okay. So
how it works.
You don't work only inside the climate pact, because you can help municipalities through other initiatives or other works that other co-workers have or bring to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Another example, we have a department for the enterprises. Of course, the professional sector is also a sector which is very important for the municipalities to implement measures. And then we work together with this department to find ways to facilitate the implementation of measures in the climate pact, but for the professional sector.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that these tools are quite interesting to explore, because I think that several agencies have similar or complementary tools. So it could be interesting to explore how maybe some of them can be applicable in other situations. For instance, EnR also has a tool that has this kind of, maybe it's the same logic of this kind of catalogs that Luxembourg developed. EnR also has not specifically catalogs, but there are examples of best practices, so that but they are building their SecUp, but it's the same, so that they can build, let's say, a pre-plan, and then they can develop it, but at least they go from they don't start from an empty page. So, and also for we also have something similar to the EnR coach, because we have a mandatory national plan for resource efficiency in public administration. And so we have an EnR coach platform, which we call the EcoAP for public administration. EcoAP platform that has all the information on all the consumptions, not only energy, but also materials, the mobility needs. So everything that has any kind of, that spends any kind of resource, we collect there, so that they can then develop their efficiency plans for their assets. So this is, I think, something that we could think about looking deeper into, and even regarding that, and for our reports now from these sessions, Bruno, if you can send us some information on the in French, maybe, because I think that will be the language that we can understand. I don't speak German, unfortunately, but at least in French, about these different tools and certifications, it could be interesting for us if you have like a brochure or something simple that you can share. So thank you again. If there are no more questions, we'll again make this available in the YouTube channel of EnR. Okay, so thank you again, and see you soon.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sophia.